Your brain rarely breaks without warning. Long before burnout shows itself as exhaustion or emotional numbness, the brain starts sending quiet signals. Most people feel these signals but explain them away as stress, pressure, or just another demanding phase of life. Neurologically, these are not random sensations. They are intentional messages. Burnout is not something that suddenly happens to careless or weak people. It develops slowly through repeated adaptation without enough recovery. By the time motivation disappears or the body forces rest, the brain has already been compensating for a long time. This video is about understanding those compensations before they turn into collapse. Think about moments when you are still functioning but feel strangely distant from yourself. You finish tasks, answer messages, meet responsibilities, yet nothing feels satisfying. Your mind feels full, but your sense of meaning feels thin. That state is not laziness, it is neurological conservation. Modern neuroscience shows the brain is highly resilient, but resilience does not mean unlimited capacity. When stress continues without resolution, the brain shifts priorities to protect survival. Creativity, curiosity, and emotional depth slowly move into the background. For most of human history, stress was short and physical. A threat appeared, the body reacted, and recovery followed naturally. Today, stress is mental, social, and ongoing. The brain rarely receives a clear signal that danger has ended. Deadlines, financial uncertainty, social comparison, and constant information flow overlap. The nervous system remains partially activated from morning to night. This state is not panic, but it is not rest either. Over months and years, it quietly drains cognitive and emotional reserves. At the center of this process is the amygdala. Its role is to detect threat and prepare the body to respond. It does not distinguish between physical danger and social or emotional risk. Criticism, rejection, and uncertainty activate it just as strongly. When the amygdala stays active, the hypothalamus responds repeatedly. Stress hormones like cortisol are released again and again. In short bursts, cortisol sharpens focus and boosts energy. When prolonged, it changes how the brain allocates resources. The prefrontal cortex is especially affected by this shift. This region supports planning, emotional regulation, judgment, and empathy. Under chronic stress, it reduces activity to conserve energy. That is why stress makes people more reactive and mentally rigid. You may notice patience disappearing faster than it used to. Small problems feel heavier and harder to solve. This is not a loss of intelligence or emotional maturity. It is the brain simplifying operations to survive sustained load. Memory is often one of the earliest systems to signal stress. People forget names, words, appointments, or why they opened an app. This does not mean memory is permanently damaged. It means the brain is limiting new memory formation. The hippocampus, which helps create memories, is sensitive to cortisol. When stress hormones stay elevated, memory becomes selective. Only information linked to immediate relevance is stored deeply. Context, nuance, and long-term learning lose priority. That is why stressed people often say, "I know this, but my mind went blank." The information still exists, but access becomes unreliable. The brain narrows retrieval pathways to reduce overload. This is protection, not malfunction. Processing speed also changes during chronic stress. The brain becomes fast at detecting problems, but slow at solving them. Multitasking becomes exhausting, and attention fragments easily. Threat monitoring consumes mental bandwidth. From a future neuroscience perspective, burnout looks intentional. When effort no longer leads to recovery, the brain reduces motivation. This forces disengagement when conscious rest is ignored. Loss of drive is not laziness, it is a biological boundary. Neuroplasticity is what makes recovery possible. The brain reshapes itself based on repeated experience. Stress strengthens certain pathways, but recovery strengthens others. Patterns are learned, and learned patterns can change. Interestingly, prolonged stress often redirects attention toward meaning. The brain becomes less interested in novelty and more focused on purpose. This is why burnout often leads to deep life reassessment. Wisdom can emerge from neurological recalibration. Education research shows this clearly. Students under constant pressure show reduced memory and creativity. They study longer, but retain less. When challenge is paired with safety and recovery, learning improves dramatically. Social behavior also shifts under stress. Neutral comments feel personal, and misunderstandings increase. People become more defensive without realizing why. The brain filters information through a threat-focused lens. Nature provides a powerful comparison. Animals exposed to ongoing threats stop exploring and bonding. They conserve energy and avoid risk. Once safety returns, normal behavior resumes. Human brains follow the same biological rules. In unsafe environments, exploration shuts down. In safe environments, curiosity and connection return. Burnout reflects prolonged perceived unsafety. In work environments, early burnout often appears as emotional detachment. People feel distant from work they once cared about. They still perform, but without emotional investment. This does not mean meaning is gone. It means emotional systems are conserving energy. Caring deeply costs neurological resources. When recovery is uncertain, the brain limits emotional spending. This is protection, not indifference. Technology intensifies this cycle. Notifications keep the brain in alert mode. Even during rest, the nervous system stays engaged. True recovery requires a felt sense of safety, not just free time. Medical science now links burnout to physical symptoms. Sleep disruption, immune changes, inflammation, and fatigue are connected. The brain communicates stress to the body. Burnout feels physical because it is physical. The hopeful truth is that the brain responds quickly to recovery signals. Predictability lowers stress responses. Choice and control calm the nervous system. Small daily changes create measurable neurological shifts. One powerful strategy is proactive rest. Short breaks taken before exhaustion matter more than long breaks afterward. This teaches the brain that recovery is reliable. Reliability reduces threat activation. Single-task focus reduces cognitive overload. Completing one task at a time restores clarity. Closure sends calming signals to the brain. The mind relaxes when effort feels contained. Movement plays a direct chemical role. Moderate activity clears excess stress hormones. It increases neuroplasticity and emotional regulation. This is about balance, not performance. Sleep is where deep neurological repair happens. During sleep, the brain clears waste and resets emotional circuits. Chronic stress disrupts this process. Protecting sleep protects mental resilience. Social safety is one of the strongest regulators of stress. Calm conversation reduces amygdala activity. Even brief connection restores balance. The brain evolved to recover with others. Language shapes stress response more than we realize. Labeling stress as information reduces threat. Self-judgment increases load, curiosity reduces it. Interpretation changes neurological processing. Future research suggests burnout may soon be detected early. Wearables already track stress-related patterns. Brain-based prevention may replace endurance culture. Sustainability may become the new success standard. Stress signals are not enemies. They are messages from a brain designed for long life. Listening early allows adjustment without collapse. Burnout is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that your brain has been protecting you. The brain does not demand perfection or endless productivity. It asks for rhythm, balance, and meaning. When you listen, burnout becomes guidance, not an ending. Think about how stress shows up in ordinary mornings. You wake up already feeling behind, even before the day begins. There is no immediate danger, yet your chest feels tight and your thoughts rush. This is the brain anticipating demand before it even arrives. The brain learns patterns very quickly. If mornings repeatedly begin with urgency, the nervous system adapts to expect pressure. Over time, the body wakes up already stressed. This is not mindset, it is conditioned neural prediction. Many people experience burnout first in small habits. You stop enjoying music, reading, or silence. Rest feels unproductive, even when you are exhausted. The brain begins to associate stillness with danger instead of safety. This happens because the brain links self-worth with output. When productivity becomes the main signal of safety, rest feels threatening. The nervous system stays alert even during downtime. Recovery becomes difficult not because of workload, but because of interpretation. From a neuroscience perspective, this is a learned survival strategy. The brain believes constant readiness prevents future stress, but in reality, it extends stress indefinitely. The brain cannot rest in an environment it does not trust. Future research is now exploring how prediction drives burnout. The brain is not only reacting to stress, it is forecasting it. When the future feels uncertain, the brain stays prepared. Preparedness without resolution becomes exhaustion. This explains why vacations sometimes fail to restore energy. The body changes location, but the brain keeps scanning. If emails, thoughts, or worries remain active, recovery stalls. Rest requires psychological safety, not just physical distance. Another overlooked signal appears in emotional flattening. People describe feeling fine, but not joyful. High stress narrows emotional range to conserve energy. The brain limits emotional intensity to avoid overload. This is not depression in the traditional sense. It is emotional budgeting. The brain reduces highs to prevent deeper lows. Balance is maintained, but richness is reduced. Over time, this emotional narrowing affects relationships. Conversations feel draining, even with people you care about. Empathy requires cognitive and emotional resources. When resources are low, connection feels costly. The brain does not stop caring. It temporarily stops investing. Investment resumes when safety and recovery return. This is why burnout recovery often restores emotional depth. Future neuroscience is beginning to see burnout as a system issue. It is not just about stress levels, but recovery predictability. Brains tolerate high effort when rest is guaranteed. Uncertainty is more exhausting than workload. This has implications for how societies structure work and education. Predictable schedules reduce stress more than lighter workloads. Clear boundaries calm the nervous system. Ambiguity keeps the brain alert. Wisdom traditions understood this long before neuroscience. Regular pauses, reflection, and rhythm were built into daily life. These practices stabilized the nervous system. Modern science is now rediscovering their neurological value. One simple but powerful recovery signal is completion. Finishing small tasks gives the brain a sense of closure. Closure tells the nervous system that effort had an end. This reduces background stress more than motivation does. Another is bodily awareness. Slow breathing, posture changes, and grounding sensations calm the amygdala. The brain listens closely to body signals. Calm posture communicates safety faster than thought. Future research suggests we may soon train recovery the way we train focus. Not through force, but through repetition. The brain learns safety the same way it learns stress, through consistent signals over time. Burnout recovery is not dramatic. It is quiet, gradual, and often boring. The brain does not heal through intensity. It heals through reliability. When stress signals are honored early, burnout never needs to happen. The brain adapts before collapse. This is not weakness, it is intelligence. Listening is a form of strength. Burnout is not a personal failure. It is a mismatch between demand and recovery. The brain does its best to survive the mismatch. Understanding this removes shame from the experience. If there is one future lesson neuroscience keeps repeating, it is this. Human brains are not designed for endless output. They are designed for cycles. Effort, rest, meaning, and connection. When those cycles are respected, resilience grows naturally. When they are ignored, the brain compensates until it cannot. Stress signals are not problems to silence. They are guidance systems asking for balance. Burnout does not mean you went too far. It means you stayed too long without recovery. The brain tried to protect you quietly. Now it is asking you to listen more closely.